إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونستعين به ونستنصره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح الأمة. فجزاك الله عنا خيرا يا سيدي يا رسول الله. I here testify that there is no one deserved to be worshipped but Allah Azza wa Jalla. I also testify that Muhammad is his day's messenger and mercy for the creation. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah At-Taghabun, verse number 7 and 8, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. زعم الذين كفروا أن لن يبعثوا قل بلى وربي لتبعثن ثم لتنبؤن بما عملتم وذلك على الله يسير فآمنوا بالله ورسوله والنور الذي أنزلنا والله بما تعملون خبير يوم يجمعكم ليوم الجمع ذلك يوم التغابن. صدق الله العظيم. Allah Azza wa Jal talking to the disbelievers, and He is saying the disbelievers claim that they will not be resurrected. Say, O Muhammad, indeed, by Allah, you will be surely resurrected. Then surely you will be informed about what you did. So it's good for you that you believe in Allah Azza wa Jal and in His Messenger, and with the Quran that He has revealed on Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Allah is all knowing about what you're doing. يَوْمَ يَجْمَعُكُمْ لِيَوْمِ الْجَمْعِ. On that day, the day of judgment, Allah is calling that day يَوْمُ الْجَمْعِ, the day of assembly. ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ التَّغَابُنِ. This is the day of Taghabun. And Taghabun in Arabic, it's ism mufa'ala from ghab. And ghab is actually to have a bad deed in general. So we're gonna spend this khutbah inshallah talking about the meaning of Taghabun and how this day of judgment is called the day of Taghabun, and who are the people who will be having the good deal, and who are the people who will be having a losing deal on that day, the day of Taghabun. Allah Azza wa Jal called this day Yawmul Jam', and we have mentioned in a previous khutbah about Yawmul Talaq. So we spent a khutbah about Yawmul Talaq, and we mentioned this is the day where our Creator meets His creation. This is the day where the messengers meet their nations. This is the day where the people, heavens and the earth, they meet each other. This is a day where you meet your a'mal. You see your a'mal in the sahaif. This is where Ahlul Jannah, they meet each other, and Ahlul Nar, they meet each other. All these, what we said about Yawmul Talaq applies to Yawmul Jam'. It's together. We know Allah Azza wa Jal has named the Day of Judgment many names in the Quran. Up to 50 names Allah Azza wa Jal has given to the Day of Judgment. And Allah Azza wa Jal has named 6 surahs with the name of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the Day of Judgment. And these are Al-Waqi'ah, Al-Taghabun, Al-Haqqa, Al-Qiyamah, Al-Ghashiyah, Wal-Qari'ah. And in Mecca, most of the surahs that has been revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Mecca, they have good portions of them talking about the Day of Judgment. What's going to happen on that day? How horrible that day is going to be. How tough it's going to be on humanity. How people will be out of control and so frightened. So people will be running from each other. Even the believer will be running from his mother. Why would you run from your mother? Because he cannot help his mother. he needs to help himself or herself. This is how horrible that day is going to be. So, the importance of the Day of Judgment is well known, and that's why we would like always to emphasize on the importance and the meanings of that day. Hopefully we can take a lesson from it. So as we mentioned, Yawm al-Taghabun, and they have different translations for that. In the translations of the Quran, they call it Day of Deprivation, the Day of Out of Luck, the Day of Letting Down, the Day of Disillusion, the Day of Loss. But let's go and dig deep into that meaning and see if hopefully we can understand the exact meaning of that. Let's start with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam hadith. When he said, لا يدخل أحد الجنة إلا أري مقعده من النار لو أتاه. No one will enter paradise until he will see his seat in Jahannam if he is bad. So each one of us will have a seat in Jannah and will have a seat in Jahannam. You either claim that seat in Jannah, so you will be shown your seat in Jahannam and see how Allah blessed you to replace that seat with this seat. Or the opposite, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. When you go to Jahannam and Allah will show you, that was your seat in Jannah, but you elected to replace it with this one in the hellfire. ولا يدخل أحد من النار إلا أري مقعده من الجنة لو أحسن ليكون عليه حسرة. That will be a hasra, that will be a regret for those people who actually failed that. So the scholars, they believe from the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that when Allah Azza wa Jal created heaven, He created seats for all mankind in heaven. All of them. No exception. And when He created mankind, He created seats for them, all of them in Jahannam. No exception. So each one of us has seat here and seat here. If you claim the seat in Jannah, as I mentioned, you will be among the blessed ones. If you claim your seat in the hellfire, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, that will be the toughest conclusion you're going to get, because that's going to be eternal. And that's, some of the scholars, they said that's the meaning, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. Why Jannatan you get? Because you get that seat in Jannah. But however, that empty seat for the disbeliever that it was left, you can claim two in Jannah. So you claim your seat and you claim the disbeliever seat in Jannah. Imagine that. So because there will be extra seats available because of the people who went to Jahannam. And this is actually mentioned in the Quran and in the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, when we start قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, till we reach the verse number 10, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla talking about the believers, and He comes, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. Those people who are the inheritors. What do they inherit, those good people, the believers? الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Those people who inherit paradise. So inheritance is you claim your property in it. Not only your property, but also the property for the disbelievers also. You get it. So that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said from hadith Abi Hurairah marfu'an, but it was بسند صحيح صححه الحافظ في الفتح. He said, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, ما منكم من أحد إلا وله منزلان. Every one of you will have two houses. منزل في الجنة, a house in Jannah, ومنزل في النار, and a house in the hellfire. فإذا مات ودخل النار ورث أهل الجنة منزله. However, if a person dies and enters paradise, the people of Jannah will inherit his house. وذلك قوله تعالى أولئك هم الوارثون. So indeed, this is a great deal for us believers, but it is such a bad deal for the disbelievers. And that the word comes at-taghabun. The word at-taghabun comes. At-taghabun, you can imagine, I'm going to give you a worldly example. It does not apply, but I'm going to give you a detail or some explanation what is taghabun here. Let's say somebody is offering his house for sale, and he's offering his house for $500,000. So you go and you give him $50,000, and he accepts. Okay? So you give him $50,000 for a house that it is worth $500,000. That means in Arabic, you are بالغبن or غبن to him. You actually lower the price to a level that it is actually unjust to him. That's al-ghab. Okay? Same thing. If you are selling something and somebody comes and offers you a price very low for what you are offering, but you are in need, so you sell it. He did ghab to you. That means he did some type of injustice. That's in this worldly thing. But at-taghabun that happened in the Day of Judgment, it is actually a great and eternal. Because the people of Jannah, they do ghabn for the people of the hellfire. Why? Because they took their seats in Jannah. So the disbeliever, he looked, he said, oh my God, what have I done? I have replaced my manzila, my house over there with this. I'm going to be here for the rest, for eternity. And I left that seat over there. That's al-ghabn that the people of the hellfire, they will feel. Because they replaced good with bad. They replaced paradise with torture. They replaced good with evil. So that's where actually al-ghabn happens. So al-ghabn happens between the people of Jannah and the people of the hellfire. But also there is another type of ghabn, which is between among the believers themselves. The believers themselves, when they see the people who did more good deeds than them, they are much higher in Jannah than their level in Jannah. We know, the more you read Quran, right, the Malaika say, come up in your level, in your manzila in Jannah. The more you read, the more you do sadaqah, the more you are good to your parents, the more you do things, you get elevated in Jannah. So however, those believers, when they see the higher levels of Jannah, and they see the level they have accomplished in Jannah, they will see also a feeling of ghadab. That means, oh my God, if I did a little bit more of good a'mal, I will be there, not only here. See, that's what. So that's al-ghadab between the people of Jannah themselves. So imagine, it's a great regret, great heartbreaking for those people who say, I wish I have spent more time reading the book of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So in each ayah I will go higher. Or I wish I was good to my parents. So I spent more time being good to my parents, fulfilling their needs and serving them, because I know there are some people who were good to their parents and doing good to their parents. They are much higher in Jannah. Also, there are hasra and there are regrets about you've been doing good deeds, but you did not do it properly. You did wudu, but you did not do it properly. So your reward for the wudu wasn't 100%. You stood for the salah for Allah Azza wa Jal, but your salah wasn't 100% because your brain, your mind was somewhere else. So you were reading the ayat of the Quran al-Kareem, but you did not have khushu'. So that's also